Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Big Time Sports. And if you're a high school football fan, you have come to the right place, because for the next 20 to 25 minutes, we're going to talk high school football all over Stark County as we get ready for week number 3 already of the 2025 high school football season. Congratulations to all the winners from week number 2. Let's check some of the big wins, however, in week number 2 and talk a little bit about those games, because there were some outstanding games in the second week of the season. How about Hoover knocking off Medina 42-17? The Vikings are undefeated. They're 2-0. Perry, brand new coach, and they're 2-0. They beat St. Vincent St. Mary 36-0. Lake has an outstanding football team. They were one of my favorites to win the Federal League, and they are not a disappointment. They went over to Boardman and knocked over the Spartans 48-20. Northwest, remember, Northwest did not play a game on the opening night of the season. Norton had some problems up there with some type of sickness with the football players, but they came over to Marlington last week and knocked off the Dukes 35-0. In one of the best games in the area. How about Louisville knocking off Alliance 30-13, and East Canton beat Wellsville 49-0. Nobody has scored on East Canton yet. How about that defense? And Fairless knocked off Waynedale 30-0. High school football begins again this Friday night with week number 3, and Big Time Sports will be out with their play-by-play package, and it's the best game, I think, in Stark County. How about Northwest 1-0, be overtaking on Louisville. The Leopards are 2-0. Dave Sheets will have the call on that one. Friday night at 11 o'clock, and again Saturday morning at 9, the Big Time Sports game of the week, Northwest at Louisville. In addition to that Northwest-Louisville game, let's take a look at some of the other big games around the area in week number 3. As we said, Perry is undefeated. They're 2-0. They'll have their first big test of the season. They'll be over at Warren Harding. The Panthers' only loss is to week number 1 against Canton McKinley. That's going to be a tough game for Perry. Rocky River, they're 2-0. They'll be at Lake Friday night. Lake also, as we said, is 2-0. I like Lake in that one. St. Francis of New York, this will be their first game of the season. They'll take on the Jackson Polar Bears 1-1 over at Robert Fife Stadium. Cleveland Heights 0-2 will be at McKinley. Bulldogs are 1-1. Cleveland East Tech at Glen Oak, and Fairless down at Claymont. That'll round out the schedule as far as the big games in week number 3. We're going to take our first break of the program. When we come back, our featured team, North Canton Hoover, head coach Brian Baum is here. We're coming right back to talk Vikings football right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Rabbit Landscaping is Northeast Ohio's premier residential and commercial landscaping establishment in Jackson Township. They provide an ample amount of services, including landscape design, hardscapes, deck and fence installations, outdoor lighting, lawn maintenance, leaf removal, and snow removal. Rabbit Landscaping aims to provide a quality, trustworthy landscaping service to your area. Call for a free quote at 330-936-7616.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. As we said, our featured team this week, the Vikings of North Canton Hoover. Head coach Brian Baum is here. It's always nice to have a football team on that is undefeated. Vikings, of course, wins in week number 1 and number 2. Now the North High Vikings in Akron will be in North Canton on Friday night for another game. And Coach, congratulations on the quick start I guess the initial question is, you've played 2 games, you had a couple preseason scrimmages. What are you most happy about, and what do you got to get better at now as you continue on the season?
I'm happy with our growth from our first scrimmage until now. Defensively, we're getting after the ball, gang tackling, doing things that you want to do to be a good defense. But we're not perfect. There's a lot of areas we can grow yet. Just on our D-line, getting some experience to those guys, getting them better. Building up some depth there in the secondary, getting guys to step up and help us out there so we don't have to play so many guys both ways right now that we have with Byers and Andes. And offensively, just that offensive line gelling. There's a lot of new starters out there. There's a lot of room they can grow and get better, and that'll improve the running game and the protection for John. And then just having that much to grow and being 2-0, there's a lot of exciting things for us. Yeah.
Tell us about that Bookdale game, because unfortunately last year they came into North Canton and beat you in week number 1. They had an outstanding team. This year they didn't surprise you. You were waiting for them.
They have a lot of athletes, and
they do.
They were not able to get them the ball.
Yeah.
We were able to get after the quarterback, a little bit young guy there. He's going to be good, so we'll get more of a challenge the next couple of years out of them. And their offensive line just wasn't ready week 1. We were able to get after the pass pressure. They couldn't get the athletes the ball, and our defense did a real nice job. And offensively, we didn't turn the ball over. We did in the first half, which kept it close. In the second half, we didn't turn it over, and we were able to go out there and really put it on them. So.
Yeah. Then last week, Medina comes in, and I was at that game, kind of a busman's holiday. I came over and watched you guys play, and you jumped on them real quick. That was an impressive first half.
Yeah, no, it was good to get that fast start there. We did some nice things offensively and defensively. That's an unusual attack. It's a potent attack, and our defense did a good job holding it. And offensively, we executed. We created some big plays there, and put them behind early. And once that happened, our defense just smelled blood and just kept getting after them.
Yeah, as always, every year coaches lose some of their outstanding players. As you look at this group right now, who have stepped up as seniors maybe and kind of developed into team leaders for you?
The 3 guys you have on here, Jack Zarco's doing a good job. He was a captain last year, so we knew he'd be we expect him to be one of our leaders. John Collins, a quarterback, has just done a really nice job, having an off season as a quarterback. Him and Coach Henry and Coach Sager are getting the plan set up. They've done a nice job. Carter Lukens at the middle linebacker. And then we have Jack Andes at receiver DB. He's a captain as well. And Aiden Kish has really stepped up. And other guys that are leaders as well. Chase Lukens at linebacker. He's a 3-year starter. Last year we had him out for a while. And on the offensive side of the ball, at some receiver there, with Bryson Byer playing defense and offense, he's done a nice job as leader as well. On
the flip side of that, Coach, who were some of the young guys, maybe some sophomores and juniors that unexpectedly maybe you weren't counting on? All of a sudden they've improved so much they're starting to get some playing time.
Our outside receivers, Michael Stater, Chris Carter, Elijah Freisen, a sophomore, they've really done a nice job in growth and maturity and to get into varsity football and taking things serious. Those guys have done a nice job. Michael Lamline at the running back spot has really been a nice surprise there. We knew he was steady, but he's really done a good job just holding on to the rock and taking what the defense gives you. And on the defensive line, there's too many to name, but it's almost like a hockey shift. We're rotating guys in and out. But I will name the DNs. Carson Dungan, Owen Williams, Joe Nadalski, and Aaron Brubaker have all done a great job of stepping up and becoming good football players to give us depth out there. Because in 4-3, it's very important to have good outside guys, the DNs, and rotate a lot of guys on the inside as well.
Well, the last couple of years, you have had some of the better defensive ends in the county. You've been blessed with some outstanding athletes at defensive end.
Yeah, we really have. You go back to Drew Logan and Michael Shimmick, who are still playing. Then we had Bryce Roach and Drew Zarco step in, and now we got this set of ends. These 4 that are doing a really good job carrying that tradition and that torch along.
You brought 3 players, Coach. You talked about them already being leaders. Why don't you introduce the young man sitting to your left and what he means to your team this year?
Jack Zarco, we knew he was going to be a good football player early on. He came up, played a little bit in the playoffs as a freshman. So, okay, this guy to build on. He's been a vocal leader of the offensive line since his sophomore year, a 2-time captain for us. And, he plays both sides of the ball, and that's not easy for a big guy to do, but he does it. And he'd like to get more PT. He's one of those guys that wants to get more. And, on both sides of the ball, wherever we put him, we expect, excellence to take place.
Jack, welcome to the program. I was talking before the show. You're on the way to Miami to play in the Mid-American Conference. Congratulations on that. I'll ask you the same question I asked the coach. What do you guys got to get better at? You're right in the middle of the line, and you can feel things maybe sometimes people on the sidelines can't. What do you guys got to get better at?
I just think we got to keep growing, especially as an O-line. I'm the only returner, so we got 4 new seniors. I mean, they're seniors, but they're still inexperienced, and I think the first scrimmage was rough, but after that, I think we started to grow, and we just got to keep growing and build up to the feds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, you're a team leader right now. You've been 3 years as a starter. Do you really enjoy being a leader and bringing these young guys along, these young sophomores and juniors who will take over next year and the year after? What have you been able to teach those guys?
You know, just be vocal. You know, I love being a leader. You can ask them. They, I don't know, but yeah, I think I just like leading, and the thing that they need to learn is just be vocal, you know, lead by example, stuff like that.
What were some of the goals you set as an individual and maybe as a team this year? We talked about that opening game at Berkeley. Didn't want that to happen like it happened last year. So what were some of the things you were thinking about coming into your final year of high school football?
The main thing I really want to do is just put up a banner, a Federal League banner. You know, I can come back year after year and know that that team, we won the Federal League. And then after that, we just want to make a deep playoff run. We'll get to the 3rd round, 4th round, higher than that. So those are our 2 main goals this season.
Sure. Obviously, Sidney, you're a big, strong guy. Can you remember coming into the program maybe as a freshman, get into that weight room? You had those seniors very vocal in the weight room, having some fun. Tell us what it was like maybe that first year in the weight room and what the weight you started at and what you're at right now.
So, yeah, when I started, I was probably 190 pounds. I was weak. I was fortunate enough to play in the playoffs as a freshman. After that,
Did you know you were weak, or people told you that?
Well, I mean, I knew I was weak from the. I mean, I wasn't. I had good size. I could build on it, but I just needed to get myself in the weight room and be consistent, and just keep building.
People that haven't been on a high school football team or been in a high school weight room, what's it like in there? How much fun is it? Obviously, you got to have some fun, but the flip side, it's all business too. You got to get bigger, stronger, and faster. Tell the fans what it's like in there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have fun. I mean, you always got to have fun in football, but you also got to take it serious, and you got to go hard every single day. You got to attack the weight room, and build every single day. So.
Now, I'm going to ask the coaches. I know what the answer is going to be. You got North this week, Vikings against the Vikings, and then you open up against Green, I think, in the Federal League. How much do you look ahead? Are you one of those week-to-week type guys?
Week, for sure. You got to take it week by week. Last year, first week, we looked right past Bookto, and we ended up losing. And then after that, we kind of just took it week by week. So, yeah, we just got to focus on North this week and then go to Green next week. So, yeah.
You know, walking up to the stadium on Friday night, they've done so many improvements. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, boy, the atmosphere and the excitement, the students, how much fun has it been for you to play football at Hoover, and how much are you going to miss it?
Oh, it's been awesome. Last couple of years, the excitement has kind of been down, so I've kind of been getting on the people who don't play football, you know, get up in the student section, get loud, stuff like that. And so far, the first 2 games, they've done a great job with it.
Now, can you hear the crowd? Does it motivate you? The adrenaline start flowing, or are you kind of oblivious to all that around you?
If I want to listen to the crowd, it's most of the time I'm just locked in. But, when I want to listen to the crowd, they're loud and cheering. So, I love it.
Well, congratulations on a 2-0 start. You guys got a long way to go. I hope you're playing well into the playoffs and have a lot of fun your senior year. But, Coach, let's talk about those improvements they made over at the stadium, because I was impressed with walking in there and seeing everything they've done. That's a beautiful facility. It was beautiful before, but I know you got to be pleased with what they've done over there. Oh,
that stadium is beautiful, you know, and it gets loud in there, and we have great fans, and they fill it up in home games, so it's a lot of fun. But you know, you walk in there, and you know, I don't get to see that view very often. Every once in a while, I'll turn around and take just take it in, and it's awesome. It's just a great environment for high school football, and I play in a lot of stadiums, and that's one of the best in Ohio.
We talked to Jack about playing down at Miami. Who were some of the former Hoover Vikings who are playing college football?
I did count the other day. We still have 9 playing. Drew Logan at the highest level at University of Cincinnati. You know, Michael Shimmick and Brock Henney are both at Ashland still. Robbie Smart is kicking for Dayton. Clint Walker's down in Kentucky. I think it's Kentucky Christian or Kentucky Wesleyan.
Okay.
You know, so we've got some guys out there. I know, Gannon University, I have Brad Cormanic, playing on the offensive line. I know I'm forgetting a couple guys there because I said 9. I think
that shows you're playing.
And then at Mount Union, Carson Derlin and Mason Ashby.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. You know, those younger guys are out there. And
says a lot for your program, Coach. Have those guys playing at the next level, and stay put. Jack, thanks again for coming over. We're going to take a break, come back, because we have 2 more Hoover Vikings. Can't wait to get up here and talk some football. We're back right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports as we continue our conversation with North Canton Hoover head football coach Brian Baum as they get ready to take on the Vikings of Akron North High School Friday night over in North Canton. Coach, the last 2 weeks, of course, we've had high school football teams here. Talk to the coaches. I'll ask you the same question. Going from 16 to 12 teams in the playoffs, is that something you endorse, you like, or won't it affect you at all?
I find it, the first 4 with the bye is a little different, you know, so I liked 8 or 16, one or the other that I've been fine with. We're a team, if we're 15 or 16, we believe we can compete with a 1 or 2. Yeah. But there are some teams, especially you get down to D67, that I understand they can't. So, you know, like I said, when I looked at it, I was at 8 or 16, I was fine with it. 12, I find it a little odd, but once we experience it, you know, whether we have the bye or not, then I'll be able to let you know my opinion on that and see how that goes. So, but it's interesting and it's different, so we'll take it as it goes. At what point in the season do you start noticing the teams in your region, or that doesn't come till later in the year? Not until later in the year do I look at that. You asked Jack, I'm a 1 week at a time guy, and we're all about North. But probably about week 8, 9, you take a peek, see where you're sitting, and what in your head you have to think about what you have to accomplish, and then to do your best opportunity. Got a minute, Coach. Why don't you talk about your coaching staff? That's a good group you have over there. Oh, yeah. These guys have done a great job. You know, I'll start with my longest tenured guy, Justin Stutz, works for offensive line, teaches down at Waynedale, comes up and lives in the North Canton community. Got a couple young guys in the program, so you know, he's done a great job for us. He's been around. I think he's my longest tenured coach that I've ever coached with now. So that's fun. I joke about that. Then offense coordinator is Mike Sigler. Defense coordinator is Doug Burwell, who's been there a long time, an old Perry guy from, played in the 80s there for Coach Wakefield. He does a great job. And, underneath the offensive staff, I have Ryan Henry working for quarterbacks, Dan Nettleton, a North Canton guy with my receivers, Sam Rutledge also working with the offensive line. And the defense behind Burwell, I have obviously myself, the linebackers, but Coach Sweat, Zach Sweat's out of McKinley. He's working with our DBs, corners particularly, and Matt White lives down in Canton, but he works with our safeties. There you go. Got a young guy sitting next to you. I don't think he's an offensive lineman. It looks like he wants to put the ball in his hands. Why don't you tell us about him? This is our quarterback who's just done a great job improving and getting better and better at his craft. He had an all-season to work at the quarterback position because he played receiver for 2 years. Took over week 2 last year as a quarterback, but John Collins just done a great job this year so far. Yeah, I had the opportunity to watch you play a lot of football in your career over at North Canton Hoover. This is it. This is senior year, final year of high school football. Can you go back and look as a young quarterback how all you were maybe about going on the field on Friday Night Lights to how comfortable you are right now? Talk about that a little bit.
It's like a big change. My freshman year I came in and it was a lot different. I didn't really know what to expect. And growing, I played JV as a freshman, so that kind of helped transition me. But nothing compares to Friday nights. Yeah. How special it is. Sure. Whenever I have quarterbacks on the show, I always want to talk about the chemistry, how you develop that chemistry with your wide receivers. And when does that start? I mean, you got 2 days practice starting in December. When does it actually start for you to start establishing that chemistry with the wide receivers? It's really started since freshman year. I've been throwing to the same guys since the freshman year, and every time a route changes or anything, we work after practice or before practice about routes and all that timing and everything.
Yeah. What about the patterns? They come back and talk to you a little bit in the huddle. You wait till you come back on the sidelines to say, hey, I can beat this guy, or look for this route, I'll be open. And how does that communication work?
Yeah, they tell us like if they can beat their guy man on man, or if it's zone, where the hole's at. And then also our coaching staff, they really like help show us like where our eyes should be and who is going to be open.
I think you're a good-sized quarterback. You're what, 6'3", about close to 200 pounds. How much have you grown since you came into the program?
About 3 inches and 25 pounds probably. And
were you always a quarterback? Is that something you always wanted to do, or did you develop into that maybe in youth football?
Youth football, yeah. I've always played quarterback, throw the ball the farthest.
Who's kind of your guru? Who was the guy you looked up to that put the football in your hands and taught you how to play the position?
Probably my dad. He taught me all through high school, up till high school, and then Coach Henry like kind of took over. Yeah.
Toughest team, or not maybe the toughest team, but the toughest place to play maybe on a Friday night. You get on the bus and you know it's going to be a trip to the dentist, so it's going to be tough. Are they all tough for you in the Federal League?
Really in the Federal League, it's all tough. They have great fans. It's really always packed. But the most nervous is definitely going into McKinley, just because how big their stadium is.
Yeah, it's an NFL stadium.
Oh yeah, it's just a cool experience. You really just take
the tradition over there. But best of luck this year. What about your future? I've kind of noticed you've been traveling around and maybe thinking about switching to tight end as you get into the next level. Tell us about that and what you expect next year.
Just really how the end of this football season goes and see who comes out and reaches out to me, really.
Exactly. What about your preparation on game day? You got a lot on the plate as a quarterback. When does it start for you on Friday?
It's really just starts the next day, Saturday morning film, and then whenever they post our scout, really just when you start looking at the film.
Well, congratulations on a 2-0 start, and best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Okay, Coach, again, stay put because we have one more player left to talk to, coming back right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
With Bell Store's Bell Buddy Rewards, you save in-store and at the pump. New members receive 20 cents off per gallon as a welcome gift. Everyday savings are made easy. Instantly enjoy 3 cents off per gallon just for being a member. When you spend $25 in store, unlock an extra 5 cents off per gallon on your next fill-up. Buy 5, get 1 free. Track your drinks and earn free coffee, fountain, icy, and espresso with drink clubs. So start saving today. Download the Bell Stores app and sign up for Bell Buddy Rewards.
It's always that personal touch that they know you.
Primetime has people that can help you through every step of the way, and when you're my age, you need that extra help.
You don't want a lot of questioning when you're already dealing with a medical issue. Primetime is trying to help us get down the road as long as we can.
And if you're not in the right situation, a senior can lose everything. I feel with Primetime we picked the best program.
Okay, we've got one segment left, and we're talking North Canton Hoover football as they get set to hopefully win number 3 in a row Friday night against the Vikings of Akron North out of the Akron City Series. And Coach, let's talk a little about preparation for an opponent. When does that start? I know you meet on Saturday mornings. A lot of fans don't realize it doesn't end after Friday night at 10 o'clock. You're back at it Saturday morning.
Yeah, no, we try to enjoy it just a little bit after the game, but we start breaking that film down at 7 o'clock. Sometimes a little earlier, depends on who we're playing, what the attack is.
Yeah.
If it's unusual or not, we'll get a little earlier. But yeah, you have to start breaking that down and getting ready, your plan of what you want to do.
Sure.
and see things. And no, you just can't call the same things over and over. You have to make adjustments each and every week. And there's a lot good. I always laugh when people talk to me about it. Like, they don't realize how much has to go into each and every week.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And, we want our players to play fast and smart, so we have to be prepared to be able to teach them to do that. And over the course of the week, I'll make adjustments over the week if I feel like our players aren't playing fast to get them to where they can be the best they can be.
This is a guy I think that plays fast for you. I think he's one of your linebackers. Why don't you introduce him?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, we got a couple Lukens out there. When jokes, and I just call them the Lukens brothers now. But you know, Carter, who's with me, you know, he's got a little brother in the program. Chase does too. They're not related, but this is Carter Lukens, our Mike linebacker. Carter,
I think you're a third baseman too, right? In baseball, I got a chance to watch you play. You're right in the middle of the action at third base. Now you're in the middle action at linebacker. Tell us about your preparation, because I watched you play on Friday night. You had some big hits against Medina. What's that feel like, and what about your preparation beginning on Saturday mornings?
I try to watch as much film as I can so I can know where the players are going to go, and then I echo it to my linemen and safeties so I can make the play as good as I can.
Yeah. When the offense breaks the huddle, they're coming at you. What are some of your keys? What do you look at, and what do you try and tell your other linebackers in the D-line?
I try and read the running back and also how the linemen are spread out, like if there's any holes that are big or like wide or anything like that, and then see if the receivers are tighter or wider or anything like that.
How long does it take you to figure out what they do? Because they're going to come back with the same play, so they're successful to run them again. How long does it take you to feel comfortable in defense? You can figure out pretty much what they're doing.
Usually around the second quarter, like I get to like see how they run the plays or pass, something like that.
Of course, you are a middle linebacker right there in the middle of everything. Have you always been able to turn that switch on Friday night from a mild-mannered student athlete to being a little mean and tough on the football field? How does that work, and how do you do it?
I like to listen to music before the game, get fired up, and then, I don't know, I just think about things that make me mad.
What do you do after school on Friday? You got a little bit of time. Like Friday against Medina, you didn't play till 7 o'clock. You had a few hours. What do? You get something to eat, you relax, you listen to music. Tell the fans what you do.
Every Friday I go to Jersey Mike's before the game. I get a sub, and then I go home, maybe play some video games, watch some film. Then I come and get locked in.
Now you're a linebacker. Who are some of the linebackers that maybe you came in as a freshman and sophomore that taught you the ropes as being a hitter and being a linebacker at Hoover? Who were some of the leaders?
Cole Remblack definitely last year. He was a middle linebacker, and Cooper Westfall when I was a sophomore.
Yeah, what about your future? Now we talked to a couple of guys that are looking to play at next level. What would you like to do next year? Is it baseball or football or combination?
I don't know yet. We'll see how the season goes and see where it takes me.
Coach talked about some of your family members. I think your dad played, right, at one of the Lukens I knew played years ago. I mean, that's a relative.
That's Chase Lukens.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Lukens' name has been in the middle of Hoover athletics for a long time.
Yeah,
so, hey, congratulations. I enjoyed watching you play on Friday night, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Coach, it's always nice to have a hitter in the middle of the defense. I don't know if you got to settle them down once in a while or tone them down, but you just let them loose once in a while too, don't you?
Yeah, no, he does a real nice job for us there at the mic, making calls, and you know, if they come across the middle, he's going to make them pay, and that is important for us. To, you know, we want to be 11 guys at the point of attack, and he does a good job. They come across the middle, let them know you probably shouldn't come here.
Yeah, you've played a lot, you've coached a lot. Can you teach a kid to be a hitter, or is that kind of natural? How do you figure out who the hitters are and who the ones that maybe you got to teach to be hitters?
Well, you can do both. Sometimes there's guys that you are hitters. Sometimes you got to hold them back a little bit during practice and whatnot. And others, you just got to teach them the proper form. And once they get confident in the weight room, they can get a little bit more out there in the field as well to start hitting. You know, with their body just more mature and the confidence comes up.
So the weight room is when it begins, though, as far as that confidence factor.
Absolutely.
There you go. Well, Coach, it's always fun to have you on. I enjoyed watching you play in person on Friday. Best of luck against Akron North, and of course that Federal League opener against Green the week after. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having us on.
Next week, the Perry Panthers will be here. They're off to a good start at 2-0. I think they're over at Warren Harding on Friday. Next week, Big Time Sports. We'll see you then.